Well, Brittany runs a marathon is not a first life choice option for our eponymous heroine. Brittany Gillian Bell lives in New York, has a menial job, tacky apartment which she shares with Gretchen, Alice Lee. Although she's the life of the party, the funniest person her friends know, Brittany drinks way too much and is vastly overweight, to the detriment of her health, as she's informed by a doctor.
You get enough sleep every night?
Drinks on me for this side of the room.
How much is enough?
6 to 8 hours.
Oh, way more than that.
She needs to cut significant pounds, but membership of a gym is way out of her budget, so she decides on a little self-help. She takes up running. That first block that she runs is literally endless. Catherine, Michaela Watkins, a neighbour whom she doesn't particularly like, suggests she might like to join her running group, which is where she meets Seth, Micah Stock, an exercise phobe like herself.
You can do it.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing it.
Sorry, I'm talking to myself.
Having conquered a short run, the three, Brittany, Seth and Catherine, set their sights on the New York Marathon. To get money for training, Brittany begins house-sitting pets for a family, where she encounters Jern, Utkarsh Ambudkar, who does the night shift. He's basically a slacker who's moved into the apartment while the family's away. This is a debut feature directed by the playwright Paul Downs Coletso. He wrote the film apparently based on a roommate of his called Brittany. While he elicits charming and convincing performances from his cast, I did find some of his directing choices a bit distracting. The moving camera, intense close-ups. But at the same time, he's used the camera for humour as well. Brittany herself is an interesting character, although she's funny, she's self-loathing, and she takes offence very easily. Cruel things are done and said to her. But she's no slacker in the cruelty department. Despite that, ultimately you're with her all the way through her setbacks, her scratchy relationships, and her romances. This is a film with a fairly predictable arc, but it's the characters that charm along the way.
Yes, it is charming, this film. I had no idea what to expect, and I must say I disagree with you slightly about the directing technique.
I knew you would.
No, I think he's done a very good job on what's obviously a very small budget, and I think the sort of handheld camera and the wobbly documentary style is pretty fitting to
I didn't mind it
look of
later on, but very early in the film, I think if you start to notice the camera work, then something's wrong, and I did. And I'm happy with a moving camera normally.
It didn't worry me here. It's just like a sort of subjective camera feel. It's as if you're another character in there with her, sort of watching her go through these kind of absurd things that she goes through. She's a bit of a talent, this Gillian Bell,
yeah,
isn't she? I hadn't heard of her before, but she's clever. She's got a great wit about her, and her ability to sort of chuck a one-liner, some of which seem quite improvised, is pretty formidable. She's a real talent, and I really like this. I think it's one of the really good sporting films. You know, it's up there with Chariots of Fire and all the rest of them about inspiration and endeavour and going for it, setback after setback. I'll still get there. I'll still make that finish line.
Oh,
I thought that was very well done.
I'm going to give this 3.5 stars.
I'll give it 3.5 as well. I thought it was quite beguiling.
Yeah.
It is one of the great sports films.
It's quite beguiling.
My whole life, the world told me I was lazy because the way I looked. I was trying to turn my life around.
Everything's gonna be fine.
People held doors for me.
I'll hold doors for you.
This is my last hurrah.
You changing your life was never about your weight.
Hold it, please.
It was about you taking responsibility for yourself.
We're going backwards.